Hopefully it goes live on the Instagram. Or this is gonna be
Hopefully. Hi, guys.
it's gonna be pretty short. Yeah, there it is.
And we're done.
Right? Oh man, this stuff is wild. Boop. All right. Post. All right. Episode 296.
Yes.
We're
4
almost
more.
there, man. We're
We're
almost
almost
there. We're
there.
gonna hit 300. Have we decided if we're doing anything for our 300th episode yet?
I think we should. I think there should be a big to do.
All right, we'll have to figure something
We'll have to
out.
make a plan. Or if somebody
Yeah,
out there has like a good idea.
like a giveaway or something.
That, yeah, let's do a giveaway.
Yeah. What would you want to give away?
Well, first and foremost, a copy of The Screenwriter's Guide by Jeffrey D. Calhoun.
I could do that.
Somebody doesn't have it already.
I could absolutely do that. I could give that away. Yeah, that'd be a fun little 300th celebration.
Yeah. And something else. We'll have to come up with something else, something unique.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we are celebrating our 304 episodes, guys. So make sure you stick around for that. If you guys have any screenwriting questions, please drop them in the comments, and we're gonna get rolling. So
Yeah.
I watched Good Boy.
Yay. Okay, let's talk about it.
Well, I was not emotionally ready for that movie, and this is gonna get down for a second. So,
Okay.
all right. So, are you ready for this? I lost my dog last week.
Oh my god. Jeffrey, really? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she's
Aw,
my baby. I
I
lost her. She,
remember
she,
her.
yeah, she would sleep on my feet when I would write, and we would snuggle
Mhm.
up on the couch, and it was her time, and so we're all very sad.
Yeah.
We're in mourning. And then I was like, okay, and going through all the feelings, and then it's like, well, I promised Christy I'd watch this movie, and I watched that movie, and I was emotionally not ready to get through this movie.
If I would have known
Yeah.
that, I would have said, pump the brakes on this one for a few more weeks and then go to it.
I mean, every time they were shooting something with this dog where it was somewhat in danger, I was like, "Is the dog okay? Was there a pet trainer on the film? Is there someone
Yeah.
making sure that this actor is okay?"
Yeah, this actor, the dog.
Yeah, this actor, the dog. This dog is being rained on right now. I'm not okay with it. Did anybody consult the dog? I feel like the dog's being abused. So
Does the dog's
yeah,
contract have some
um,
good stipulations in it?
exactly. Yeah. Did he get hazard pay? Does the dog have a stunt double? Like
Exactly that.
I was very worried about the dog, but eventually, I got through it, and I will say that I think it is really cool how they shot the dog,
Mhm.
especially how you really never see any of the humans' faces.
Right.
It's always from the dog's perspective. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was very unique. And they did a really cool thing. I don't know if you noticed the color palette of the film, but they
Mhm.
used a shade of brown similar to the dog's coloring
Yeah.
throughout,
Yeah.
like, that color palette. I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's this interesting, unique, emotional kind of roller coaster that it really takes you on. But as animal lovers and as pet lovers, there's an added level, I think, for just general audiences and
Yeah.
viewers. And even the director made the comment about it, which is no matter what, through the history of time, anybody who's watching a movie, if there's a dog involved, and people are worried more about the dog than the humans.
Mhm. For sure.
So we have this natural ability to gravitate and attach emotionally to this animal and the dog, even before we probably would with a human central character. So I just thought that that was really unique and yeah, just an interesting kind of perspective to take with it.
I like that right away. We start with the dog. We start from the dog's perspective, chilling, sleeping with its guy, with its human.
Mhm.
And then in the corner, we see whatever this shadow figure is, you know, that's
Yeah.
in the apartment. So it really has nothing to do with the house, the cabin in the woods that he goes to and you think it's haunted. It's been following him. It's
Yeah.
death is what it is. This guy's
For
dying.
sure.
He's terminal.
Hmm.
So the haunted cabin thing and the plot line of all of my family's died in this cabin. To me, I think it was more that was more of a red herring.
Sure.
Um, I think this guy was going to go either way. But I really thought was really interesting is how the dog would have flashbacks and dreams, and they were always induced from smells, and I thought that was really cool,
Right.
you know? So then, because at a certain point, I was like, the dog is having these flashbacks, is having these visions of this other dog. Was it because he was that dog and he's
Mhm.
like reborn as this other dog? Or is
Oh,
he
that's
smelling all of those visions? Is he smelling everything
oh,
that happened and he's like piecing it together in his mind because their sense of smell is so complex. So I thought
right.
all of that was super fun. I really, really enjoyed that. Very powerful, and the fact that they put the dog on its own journey so that it was
Hmm.
making its own path, and talk about having an active character as a dog.
Yeah. Right.
What a challenge because, the dog's locked in a house, the dog's locked in a room, the dog's stuck on a leash. What is he gonna do?
What does he
Death
do?
is right next door. And you get
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
you get to really see this like badass dog making decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. So if anybody has watched Good Boy, definitely watch it. If you are a dog lover, if you are like me and you are heart has recently been broken from losing
Oh,
a pet. Definitely, that's not you. Definitely wait. Definitely wait on that one. But
yeah.
it was enjoyable. Now, have you seen this other movie? Did you ever see Turbo Kid?
I don't think so.
You haven't seen
No.
all
Uh-uh.
right, put it on your list. You have to watch Turbo Kid.
Okay.
You
Turbo Kid.
think it's a family friendly movie? It is not.
Oh.
It is very kind of trauma esque in its delivery
Oh.
of horror
Sold.
and adult content. Okay. So the guys who did Turbo Kid, which was a sleeper hit, by the way, did this film called We Are Zombies. And I
Oh,
watched
I've
that
heard
for
of that one.
Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this film was really cool. Um, there was one-dimensional characters. I'm just gonna put it out there. Look, there's one-dimensional characters. The dumb guy's the dumb guy. The sassy girl's the sassy girl. The geek is the geek, and he's weird. Like they're one-dimensional. But what I
Right.
really like is the concept is that zombies live in the world and they do not hunger for flesh.
Yeah.
They do not hunger for brains. They just live their normal life. So if a guy gets shot in the chest, he dies, he wakes up a zombie, he still goes back to work.
That's
But
crazy.
he's undead and he's slow. I mean, there's a scene where a guy is robbing somebody and he drops his gun and shoots himself in the chest and dies instantly. It's absolutely hysterical and then comes back as a zombie and is still a criminal but very slow and
Okay. I've got to watch it.
it's yeah, it's tacky, it's cheesy, super funny. I was cracking up probably more than I should have. But definitely check out We Zombies. Um, just because I really like that concept because it
Oh,
opens it up so much.
yeah. There's like a whole path of possibilities you can do with that concept.
So did you check out any films lately?
Um, well, for Halloween, we kind of did this interesting thing because we've never seen the Terrifier movies. So we
Oh,
decided to finally dive in and watch those. Um, and just the kind of the creativity and the growth and the trajectory of where they've gone from that very first one to where it is now is really cool and just really unique, and creating this almost brand new horror icon, which has not existed in a number of years, because we basically now at this point it's like 70s and 80s horror icons, maybe the Scream mask, and that's about it. And this one now is kind of getting up in that echelon of this, like these really famous kind of horror slasher icons. So I think that
yeah.
was really cool. So those were a lot of fun to catch up and watch. I mean, they're super gory,
Yeah.
definitely like rated R, triple rated R. If you don't like gore and that's not your thing, these are not for you. But they're and nobody's like, everybody is a target. Like it's kind of like South Park. You're gonna get hit no matter what, and you're probably gonna die in this movie. But it's fun to watch your journey. So
That's funny.
yeah, so that's
I
kind of what we did. We did for Halloween, and then we watched another movie that came out earlier this year, and we hadn't seen it yet, and I really wanted to watch it. So it was called The Woman in the Yard. It was a horror movie
I
that came out
saw
maybe
that too.
4 or 5 months ago, and
Yeah.
I'm still processing that one.
I mean, you
We
kind of knew what it was, right, from the beginning, or
Oh,
no?
I knew it from the trailer. I knew from the
Yeah.
trailer the general concept of where they were going, but
Yeah.
as the movie went further down the line and this interesting kind of dive into, trauma and post-traumatic stress
Right.
and depression and
Right.
everything,
Depression,
um,
yeah.
it
Suicide.
it almost kind of began to, for lack of a better way to say, like, eat its own self. It just
Mhm.
became
I can see
too
that.
much as it went, because then it left this pretty open, like open, ambiguous ending that
Yeah.
online everybody's kind of debating about what it's about. But I
Right.
just think with one of those kinds of films, it's you almost kind of want to see the resolution if you're going to explore
Right.
those
Don't
thematic
leave it
things.
open.
Yeah, you want to be able to, like, we deal with anxiety and depression and things every day in our normal
Yeah.
lives, and so we want to be able to see almost the character overcome or conquer in some way, shape, or form, and to be that ambiguous about what it was. It was not a satisfying ending to me.
I
That's
get
that's
it.
kind of my opinion.
I think the filmmakers wanted that discussion. That was deliberate. The way
Sure.
they ended it, they wanted you, spoilers here, guys. They wanted you to debate over how she dies, if she dies, right?
If she dies, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and how she dies, right? So
Mhm.
they wanted that debate. It can be argued that's the easy way out, right? To be non-committal, but then it can be argued that it's the artistic way to do it too.
Sure. Yeah.
My big issue with the film is, listen, as screenwriters, we are writing a script, or we're helping to make the rules of the story, right? Right. Superman has kryptonite, Superman makes him weak. Superman gets sunlight, sunlight makes him strong, right? We create the rules of the story. If you start breaking your own rules that you made for the story, you start losing the structure of the story that you've built. And that's what
Yep.
started happening in that film when it got that end act 2, beginning act 3, where it just
Right.
started to get wonky and heady. It's because they start breaking their own rules, and
Right.
that's where you can really start to lose an audience. And so I can see that's where your frustration would come from, absolutely.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's so funny that you just said that, because that's actually my, like, bad screenwriting advice thing I was gonna talk about,
Oh,
which has to do
yeah.
with the rules. And it's so weird that you just went right into that. What a great segue.
We're like simpatico. Okay, so our trash screenwriting advice today is what officially?
Okay, so on a board the other day, a writer was talking about how they had gotten feedback on a script, and um, they were trying to do a non-linear approach in a certain way. And the writer admitted, like, it does need work, because I really kind of need to really kind of focus on certain aspects. But somebody jumped in, and they're like, "You don't listen to everybody that says, like, it has to be linear and has to be this, like, you can break the rules. That's totally fine. Like, the rules are just guidelines." And to an extent, I understand that statement. But the thing is that you really have to understand, like, the fundamental of why that rule exists
Oh, for sure.
in order for you to then bend it and break it.
Yeah,
Filmmakers deal with this on, like, directors deal with this on set. It's the 180 rule when you're shooting. And so many people are trying to do this whole thing where they're being like outside the box and artistic, and we're going to break the 180. And it's like, but do you understand why that exists in the first place? You can
exactly.
break it, but understand why. And so when I saw when I saw that, I was like, break the rules. It's okay. And I was like, well, pump the brakes here. Don't just go out on a limb and tell them to break the rules so that they don't have to like have structure to their story.
Yeah.
They still need structure. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
It's like watching a toddler try and run when they just took their first step.
Oh, yeah,
What's
for
gonna
sure.
happen, right? You're face
Mhm.
planting.
Yeah,
I have seen a lot of beginner writers talk about how, they don't believe in rules, they don't believe in structure, they just write, they just do their thing, and, they're breaking all these rules, and I'm like, I understand your need for creativity and artistry, but, there is a discipline that comes to this
sure.
craft
Yeah.
that we
Mhm.
do that shapes the story. And yes, you really do need to have a fundamental understanding of structure or whatever you're writing. It could even be dialogue. You have to understand why we do dialogue the way we do dialogue before you start
Right.
breaking dialogue.
Right.
In order to do it so that it has purpose. If you just do it to do it, then it's garbage, it's slop, and can even be argued lazy because you don't want to learn the rules
Sure.
before you break them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you just wanna say you're artistic.
So it's actually interesting that you mentioned that. One of our listeners, Sian Anwar, asked, what are the rules for for writing horror, or any tips for writing in the horror genre? Um, and I think that plays right into what you're saying. Writing horror, I would argue, is actually one of the hardest genres to write, and I'd love to get your take on this.
Mhm.
Um, because we want to meet our audience's expectations of the particular set of genre and horror that we're writing,
Right.
but then we also want to surprise them and bring
Mm.
in different elements to the genre that they don't expect, right? So you have to kind of balance that,
Mhm.
and I think that's incredibly difficult because if you're writing a slasher film, right? And you're
Yeah.
showing a slasher film, but we're never seeing somebody get slashed. We're just seeing them off screen die. You're
What are you
not
writing?
meeting the expectation of the genre, right? We
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
we want to see it. That's why we're watching this genre. You
Right.
don't watch that for no reason. But then if you switch it up like Hitchcock and it
Mhm.
becomes a psychological drama,
Mhm.
or a psychological horror or a thriller, then it can become interesting. So yeah, you want to be able to break those expectations yet still meet them. I think it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah. It is challenging, and you're right. It's all about foundations. It's all about kind of creating your world and then setting those rules, because the rules are what the audience kind of comes to expect, even just from the name of the subgenre: slasher. Supernatural, people want to see a ghost story or anything along those lines. Um, it's when we get into the psychological kind of thriller horror ones that really, what makes that just very unique in terms of the writing approach is playing on primal fear. So you really evaluate
Mm,
like what are some primal fears in our own kind of human, you know,
yeah.
ness. Like, so what is something that you're terrified, not the physical, like yes, there's physical things we're all terrified of. People don't like snakes, people don't like
Right.
heights, like those kinds of things. But what's innately in you? What is like a just a general fear and a primal fear? And if you can kind of
Hmm.
tap into that and play on anxiety and build tension as you're playing on their anxiety, that's really what kind of makes a very good, I think, a solid kind of psychological horror aspect. Even just horror in general. Tension and atmosphere are the two strongest key points when it comes to horror, no matter if you're in any genre or subgenre. So it's just really remembering the atmosphere is the space that you're in and the environment, and then how you build the creepiness and the tension into that. You can still do that with the
Yeah.
slasher too. Halloween, the original Halloween, is a perfect example because that is the perfect blend of tension, atmosphere, and then even this primal fear of, at the time, we didn't really see it before, but like somebody that's just almost to a supernatural level coming after you and you can't stop them. Like you're powerless and you're out of control and they're going to get you no matter what. Like there's just those kinds of elements that really, I think those are the strong things for horror to really kind of keep in mind.
I like that. Do you? I mean, you mentioned Halloween. Is that your then? Is that kind of like your go-to horror film?
No, my go-to horror film, hands down, will always be The Conjuring. I That's my
Okay.
favorite horror film of all time. I think
Yeah.
probably the strongest horror film just in general is The Exorcist. I think that's probably one of in the top 5 at least, films of all time in terms of horror. Because
Yeah,
again,
man,
it
that one
plays
is
on those
so like,
elements.
oh, yeah,
It involves a child, and it's this kind of like parental fear of you can't take care of your child and what's wrong with your child, and just all these elements. It's crisis of faith. It's a lot of things in The Exorcist, but it's yeah, those thematic kind of horror movies that, like there's a base, like a really solid core theme to it.
yeah.
Those are the ones that stand out to me.
I think films about the innate or inherent evil within men or
Yeah.
within man in general, um, really gets under my skin, and
Yeah.
I struggle. Like I'm like, oh man, this is. I might have to turn the volume down. Like, I'll be, there is this old movie. And it's not old, but it's not new. Session 9. I don't know if you ever heard of it. These guys go to clean asbestos out of a former insane asylum. It's low budget, but
I
it's
think
all
yeah, I think I've seen
location.
that one.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so they're doing these cleanings, and this guy runs into these tapes, and this tapes is about one of the inmates that is, claims to be the devil.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, he's crazy," but this guy keeps listening to these tapes, and there's really not a lot happening in this movie other than the audio of these tapes, and then a guy gets pulled off screen and screams. I mean, it's not really that visually intense, but the voice acting is really good.
Hmm.
The dialogue was strong, and I mean, it got me to say it with me for a couple of days, and this
Oh
little
yeah.
movie no one's ever heard of.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think if you're hitting something like that, that's got a little bit of, like you said, anxiety to it, and probability of like, is this guy just crazy? Is this guy just evil? Is
Hmm.
this guy the devil? And it's enough to where, they imply that anybody could end up like this, that it can really hit you. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that kind of vulnerability to it. All right. Well, is there any other questions here? Let me check real quick.
Yeah, questions and give us
Let's
your
see.
ideas
I'm
for
looking,
our
yeah.
podcast.
So let's see here. Lots of people enjoy our posts. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching and listening.
Somebody asked about flashbacks. So when
Ooh.
when it comes to writing flashbacks, like how many flashbacks is too many flashbacks to where you ruin the movie?
Ooh, Jeffrey. I feel like it's a pop quiz.
Do you like that? Is it A, all of them? Is it B,
um,
3? I mean, I have a general rule. Like, if you're just writing a film in
mhm,
general and you do a flashback, 1 to 2 is appropriate. If you
sure.
start getting too many flashbacks in there, then you have to, like, start off early introducing those flashbacks so that we know that this is gonna be part of, like, the voice of the film,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
And the
And
structure.
and with
Yeah.
yeah, and with that, I would do quick flashes.
Hmm.
So I would just do like the quick 2 seconds, there's a knife, there's blood, and then our person is having like a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
And so if I
Yeah.
build that in early to the script, then I have like this is an expectation. I can now use those throughout like key moments of the script. But if we're
Right.
just doing 1 or 2 flashbacks, I think that's okay. But if you
Yeah.
start doing like a bunch of flashbacks, I would start saying, go back to the drawing board, look at your concept, and see why you're using flashbacks as filler, because
As fi-
that's probably what you're doing.
yeah, as filler. Or you're trying to supplement something in the story that you've realized, oh, the audience won't understand this. I should probably throw in a flashback so they get the
No!
context of this. It's like, no. If you're
Red
using
flag.
my answer is if you're using flashbacks to, yeah, supplement pretty much half of your narrative and your story, then that's too many flashbacks.
Have you read the script or watched the movie where they do a flashback to earlier in the film just to remind the audience of something that happened that we've already seen. Have you
I'm
seen that
sure I've
yet?
probably seen it, and at times it's like, okay, I get it, but then at time like, yeah, sometimes I don't know. I think that sometimes even might not even be a writer thing. There may be an element to where you get to the editing room and the
Yeah.
director
Oh, it's
wants
true.
to,
Good point.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if the director didn't shoot a scene where he emphasized something he wanted the audience's eyes to specifically go to,
Yeah.
the editor might use that little trick to supplement, to fill in
It
the
the
gap.
worst offenders of that is always anything with, like, a Chekhov's gun, right?
Oh,
Anything with a
totally.
Chekhov's gun, "Oh, by the way, the knife was under the table." I mean, I knew the knife was under the table. It was under
The
the table
table.
75 minutes ago. I
Yeah.
didn't forget about it. You don't need to give me a flashback to remember the knife's under the
To
table.
remind me.
But thanks, guys.
Thanks for showing and not telling. I mean,
Yeah.
talking about the rules. I mean, you are
We're not
showing, so I guess.
we're definitely not being redundant here, but, yeah, no, for sure. Alright, well, I mean, that was pretty good. Is there anything else? You got anything for me?
No, just excited for some movies coming out because there's some really cool movies coming up, and yeah, it's going to be a really good month of stuff. I'm very
Hey,
stoked.
are you gonna go see the new Predator, or is that not on your
That wasn't one of the primary ones that was on our
Okay.
list, but my friend group and I were always like, let's just go catch the next whatever. So that may be one that we do, and The Running Man is after that, which I'm stoked to see,
When is that coming
and
out?
that's coming out the 14th, and
Okay,
that's
so
Edgar
I
Wright.
alright, I will definitely watch that one, and then
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna check out the Predator. If you happen to watch it, we can chat about it next time.
Okay, yeah, I might be able to catch it before next time. If not, you'll have to tell me how it is.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? We love the Predator movies. Like, we're big, obviously, sci-fi people, like the Alien movies, Predator movies, the Aliens versus Predator movies we have a problem with, but
Well, this
there's
is kind of
only
almost
so
like
much you can do.
it's kind of blending the same worlds because I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me what you think. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna take in my boy to it, and we're gonna check it out. I've liked all the Predator movies, even the bad ones, so, guilty as charged.
They're fun.
Uh,
They're fun.
yeah, there's just something about it. All
Yeah.
right, well, guys, this is episode 296. We're only like 4 away from
Well,
300. Absolutely crazy. Christy, thank you for being on with me.
yeah.
You want to try and do
Thanks.
this again next week?
Let's do it.
All right, guys, hit us with some screenwriting questions for next week.
Bye.